Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a story that has rapidly become one of the most talked about creator controversies on the internet. A story involving a viral YouTube investigation, a lawsuit, a takedown request, a major crowdfunding platform, and a response from a CEO that has people across social media talking. The headline says it all. Patreon CEO refuses to remove YouTuber's viral Lego investigation despite takedown notice and lawsuit, telling Bricks and Minifigs that they can essentially stuff it if they don't like the decision. Now, whenever you hear a headline like that, it's easy to focus on the dramatic quote. It's the kind of statement that spreads quickly because it's blunt, direct, and guaranteed to generate reactions. But underneath that headline is a much bigger story involving creator rights, platform responsibility, legal disputes, online investigations, and the growing power of independent content creators in the digital age. What started as a dispute involving a collection of Lego sets has evolved into a debate about how much influence companies should have over platforms that creators rely on for income. To understand why the story has become such a massive topic of discussion, we need to go back to the beginning. The controversy centers around a Lego Star Wars collection that was reportedly worth as much as $200,000. According to allegations made by Brian Mansell and members of his family, the collection was placed on consignment at a Bricks and Minifigs franchise location in Salem, Oregon. The expectation, according to these allegations, was that the collection would be sold over time while ownership remained with the family until individual sales occurred. However, after ownership of the store changed hands, the family claims they were unable to recover a significant portion of the collection. The allegation immediately attracted attention because we're not talking about a handful of Lego sets sitting on a shelf. We're talking about a collection that reportedly represented years of collecting and a substantial amount of money. For many collectors, rare Lego sets are not just toys, they're investments. Some retired sets appreciate significantly in value, particularly sought after Lego Star Wars releases. When you hear that a collection potentially worth six figures has become the center of a dispute, people naturally become interested. However, it's important to note that Bricks and Minifigs has disputed major parts of the narrative. The company has publicly stated that it did not knowingly steal anybody's collection and has argued that the situation stems from agreements involving a former franchise owner. The company has maintained that many online discussions surrounding the case have omitted important details and presented an incomplete picture of events. As the dispute continued, a YouTuber known as Reckless Ben became heavily involved in covering the story. His investigative videos brought widespread attention to the allegations and quickly gained traction online. What may have otherwise remained a relatively localized dispute suddenly became a topic being discussed by millions of viewers across YouTube and social media. The more attention the videos received, the more people began examining the claims, discussing the evidence, and forming opinions about what may or may not have happened. This is where things started to move beyond a typical business dispute. One of the unique aspects of the modern internet is that independent creators can sometimes generate more public attention than traditional news outlets. A creator with a dedicated audience can take a niche topic and expose it to millions of people in a matter of days. That's exactly what happened here. Reckless Ben's videos transformed the story into something much larger than a disagreement over property. The video sparked debates about accountability, franchise operations, business practices, and consumer trust. As attention grew, tensions escalated. Eventually, Bricks and Minifigs and its franchise filed a lawsuit against Reckless Ben and others connected to the situation. The lawsuit includes numerous allegations, including claims involving defamation and other actions the company believes cause harm to franchisees, employees, and their families. The company argues that the online campaign surrounding the story led to harassment, negative reviews, and real-world consequences for people connected to the business. Whenever lawsuits like this emerge, public opinion often becomes divided. Some people view legal action as an attempt to protect a company's reputation and challenge what it believes are false claims. Others view lawsuits against creators as attempts to intimidate or silence criticism. Which interpretation is correct often depends on the facts that ultimately emerge through the legal process, which can take months or even years to fully resolve. What makes this situation particularly interesting is that the conflict didn't stop with the lawsuit. According to Patreon CEO Jack Connie, Patreon received legal communications requesting action against Reckless Ben's Patreon page. For those unfamiliar with Patreon, the platform has become one of the most important tools available to independent creators. Whether someone is making YouTube videos, podcasts, documentaries, reviews, or investigative content, Patreon often serves as a direct line of financial support between creators and their audiences. For many creators, Patreon income isn't just extra spending money. It's what allows them to dedicate time to research, editing, travel, equipment, and production. In some cases, it's the difference between being able to create content full-time and having to walk away from it entirely. Because of that, requests to remove a creator from Patreon carry significant implications. If a creator loses access to their Patreon page, they potentially lose access to a major revenue stream. That means any decision Patreon makes regarding creator accounts can have serious consequences, not only for the creator, but also for the audience that supports them. According to Conti, Patreon reviewed the legal filings and the information provided through its trust and safety process. After that review, the company decided not to remove Reckless Ben's page. Conti then publicly discussed its decision and made it clear that Patreon was standing by its choice. His comments quickly spread across social media, with many people praising the company for refusing to take action based solely on legal pressure. The response immediately sparked a larger conversation. Should crowdfunding platforms remove creators because lawsuits have been filed against them? That's not an easy question to answer. On one hand, companies absolutely have a right to defend themselves if they believe false information is causing harm. Nobody wants a system where businesses are powerless to respond to inaccurate or defamatory claims. On the other hand, lawsuits can also be expensive, intimidating, and time-consuming. If the mere existence of a lawsuit were enough to get a creator removed from funding platforms, some worry that legal action could become a tool used to suppress criticism before courts have an opportunity to determine what is actually true. This is why Patreon's decision has attracted so much attention. The company appears to be signaling that legal filings alone are not sufficient grounds to remove a creator. Instead, Patreon seems to be taking the position that it will evaluate whether a creator has actually violated platform policies rather than automatically acting because a legal dispute exists. That distinction matters. Whether you agree with Reckless Ben or not, whether you believe bricks and minifigs or not, the broader issue extends far beyond this specific case. It touches on questions that affect creators across the internet. If a company can pressure a platform into removing a creator before allegations are fully examined, what does that mean for investigative content in general? Conversely, if platforms never intervene, how should they respond when creators genuinely cross ethical or legal lines? Those are difficult questions with no simple answers. What is clear, however, is that the story has evolved into something much larger than Lego. At its core, this is a story about power. It's about the power of creators to bring attention to stories. It's about the power of businesses to defend themselves. It's about the power of platforms to decide who gets access to financial support. And it's about the power of audiences who ultimately decide which voices they want to support. The outcome of the ongoing legal battle could have implications that stretch well beyond the people directly involved. Creators, companies, and platforms like Patreon will be watching. The decisions made throughout this process could influence how similar disputes are handled in the future. For now, though, one thing is certain. Patreon has made its position clear. The company reviewed the request, reviewed the available information, and decided not to remove Reckless Ben's page. Whether that decision proves controversial, courageous, reckless, or justified will likely depend on how the legal proceedings unfold in the months ahead. This remains an active legal dispute, and it's important to remember that allegations made by either side have not necessarily been proven in court. As always, the legal process will continue. Evidence will be examined, arguments will be presented, and eventually a more clear picture may emerge. Until then, this story remains one of the most fascinating examples of how internet culture, creator platforms, corporate interests, and legal systems can collide in very public ways. But what do you think? Did Patreon make the right decision by refusing to remove Reckless Ben's page? Should platforms remain neutral while legal disputes play out? Or do you believe companies should have more influence when they believe a creator's content is causing harm? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below because I'm very interested to hear where you stand on this situation. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow, helps more people discover the content, and tells YouTube that you like to see more videos like this. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos when they go live. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, consider checking out my Patreon. Not only does it help support future content, but you'll also get access to Patreon exclusive videos and other benefits. My latest Patreon exclusive is How Long Can Video Game Franchises Keep Expanding?, where I take a deep dive into whether gaming's biggest franchises can continue growing indefinitely, or whether every series eventually reaches a point where expansion becomes more difficult. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Game on.